Good afternoon. A little loud. Again, I want to echo what Don said, and thank you for being here. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you briefly today how JumpStart has impacted my life, to tell you the rest of the story as it pertains to me. And I want to begin by telling you two stories, both of them true. I want to tell you a story of a guy that didn't have JumpStart and his outcome. This guy, I'll use his initials, JW, and I used to call him J-Dub. And he was a quiet guy, he was alone, he stayed off to himself, and so I always tried to engage him and get him out of the shell. And so he was about my same height and build, and he liked to play basketball, and he found out I liked to play basketball and was fairly good at the time. And he said, Rob, I want to play against a one-on-one. I said, J-Dub, that wouldn't be a good idea. So he kept badgering me, but we never got a chance to play. J-Dub got out of prison, Tiger River Correctional, in November 2012. And because J-Dub did not have JumpStart as a support, his life descended back into drugs and crime. 20 months, ladies and gentlemen, 20 months after he was released, J-Dub shot and killed 3 people, wounded a 4th, and led law enforcement on a high-speed chase in a stolen vehicle. After he was apprehended and finally sentenced to 3 life sentences where he went back to a maximum security prison, he died of a drug overdose there. Sad. But it didn't have to be that way, because JumpStart is making a difference and having an impact. My second story I want to bring to you and introduce you to is this. This is my favorite sweater. No, you cannot have it. This sweater was laying in the gutter on Reedville Road in Spartanburg, South Carolina. In 2015, as I was driving down Reedville Road one Saturday morning, it was slightly raining a little bit. I saw this sweater in the gutter and I stopped to pick it up. Now let me put this disclaimer, I do not make it a practice to pick up clothes. I do not do that. But for some reason, I was compelled to stop and pick up this sweater. And I took it home and I washed it a few times because it was extremely dirty. Twigs, leaves, it had been laying in the gutter for God knows how long. So after I cleaned it up really good, I looked at it, it was sound, there was no tears. Looked like a nice sweater. So I wore it to church. Walked in the doors of the church. Big Burley might remember this. He may remember. Some guy said, "Hey, Rob, man, I like that sweater." So where'd you get it? I said, "You'll never guess." But the reason I share that, because this sweater has so much meaning to me, is because that's where God found me. He found me in the gutter of life. And he stopped to pick me up, to clean me up, and now he's wearing me. Because the word teaches us that Christ dwells in us, the hope of glory. Greater is he that's in me than he that's where? I'm not going to preach, but I just want to get that point across. But that's what JumpStart means to me. And being a part of JumpStart, they taught me some tools that has helped me and is helping me to continue to be successful in my transition from the South Carolina penal system to Eastern North Carolina, where I live with my lovely wife Helen over here. Hey, baby. And so the tool that JumpStart gave me has 5 components, 5 keys, if you will. And the first key is this. It's the linchpin. It's the crux of the matter for me. It's like the hub that the other 4 are supported by. And that key is daily surrender to Jesus Christ. That's where it began for me. My life didn't begin to come in order and out of chaos until that point where I said, you know, Jesus, I cannot do this alone. And I made him my Lord. And so now today, even this morning, I rise at 5:30 a.m. Some may get up earlier than that. But I have an alarm on my phone at 5:30, and it says, time with God. And so every morning I get up, and I spend time with him in prayer. And for me, that usually means going outside. You know why? Because when I was incarcerated, I couldn't go outside when it was dark. You could only go outside after it was light and the yard was open. So now that I'm free, I go outside every morning, listen to the birds chirp, and watch the rabbits and the hawks and all these different things. And an owl flew over here the other day. And so I'm enjoying myself outside talking to this Creator. The other thing I do is I spend quality time in the Word. Spend some time reading this book, seeking to find out what he wants me to do for this day. And the third thing I do is regular fellowship with other believers. That's how key number 1 is working in my life, daily surrender to Jesus Christ. Key number 2 is this, having a job and keeping a job. And see, when I think about having a job and keeping a job, I think about attitude and how important it is. And one of the things that JumpStart helped me to develop is an attitude that says, get her done. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody that has a can-do spirit. Somebody that comes upon a situation and rather than pointing out all the things that are wrong, they'll say, hey, this is what we can do to make it right. This is how we can correct it. Hey, let's be a problem solver, not a problem finder, just somebody complaining and grumbling all the time. And when you go to a work site and you carry that character, that attitude right there, people want to get around you because you're about getting things done. And JumpStart helped to develop that in me. That's key number 2, having a job and keeping a job. The third key is this, having a budget and financial goals. So what is a budget? Anybody know? Tell me what a budget is. Anybody? Just quick, briefly. Yeah, there you go. For me, it's simply this, not allowing what's going out to exceed what's coming in. Okay? You got to manage that. And for me, before I went to prison, I never really budgeted. I don't know how I survived, but as I said in the video, money was burning a hole in my pocket. I could not see long term. But JumpStart, through teaching me things like Dave Ramsey and Financial Peace, helped me to begin to learn the importance of budgeting. It's the building blocks of a stable and secure future. I found that out. And it's tremendous. And that's why I still shop thrift stores. I pack my lunch to work. Because it's a whole lot cheaper than going to another fast food restaurant and spending $8-10 a day. That adds up to, $50 in a week if I'm working 5 days a week. When I can pack my lunch and I can spend half that at the grocery store. Make me a PB&J. All right? Eat some of the little goldfish. Kids like that. All right? So that's my third key right there. Having a budget and financial goals. The fourth key is this, developing a support network. And for me, this is what it looks like. I have in my corner people that are teachers. Those are people that are showing me the way. People such as William Harrison, Don Williams, Tommy Moore. When I got out, they were the ones that were guiding me along. But I also have trusted companions, those that are going alongside me, that are with me on the way. But the other thing is, the third level of this is I have trainees, people that I can look back and say, come on, this is the way, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to do it. And you know what the brilliant thing is? JumpStart has implemented this at the big house in Spartanburg. Because every month there's some trainees getting out, if you will. And there's some people that are already there in the big house who are looked upon as trusted counselors, trusted companions, or teachers, because they're in a position to where they can help these new people learn the ropes, so that in a month's time, they are now turning back and doing the same things that was done for them. Brilliant. And it perpetuates itself. It is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I thank God for it. And the fifth and final key, well, let me stop and I want to recap because I went through that fairly quickly. Can you tell me what the first key is? Daily surrender to Jesus Christ. The second key, can you tell me? Having a job and keeping a job. The third key, having a budget and financial goals. The fourth key is developing a support network. And the fifth key, this is the one that tempers me. This is the one why you saw me on some roller skates like this, stiff as a board. So the fifth key is learning how to have fun God's way. Because before I was incarcerated, the things that led to my criminal behavior were usually self-destructive. The only way I knew how to have fun was going out drinking to excess and doing a lot of things that I don't do today. So I had to learn a whole new way of just having fun. And so I learned that, you know what, it's okay to go bowling with my wife. And even though I'm the guy, I usually lose. And I get mad. I get mad. She taunts me. But anyway, there's other things like we go to the theme park, we go to the beach, we walk our neighborhood. We like to walk up to a stranger and just strike up a conversation. And you never know what people are going through or the things that they know in life and how much of a blessing that can be to you just by striking up a conversation with someone, learning how to have fun God's way. So I'm going to recap those 5 for you again. The first one is daily surrender to Jesus Christ. The second one is having a job and keeping a job. The third is having a budget and financial goals. And the fourth is developing a support network. And number 5, learning how to have fun God's way. Because guess what? It's no fun to be dull people. All work and no play makes us dull. And you know what? It probably adds to the hypertension from all the stress. So I want to encourage you, even though these are applied by JumpStart to men and women that are getting out of prison, they're comparable for what you need to do today.
Amen.
They are. And I want to thank you again for allowing me to stand here and share with you briefly my story of what God did for me through this ministry, JumpStart. Have a blessed day.
Amen.